Alright, you all, I'm going to do something I haven't done in quite a while. I'm actually doing a movie review, a review of a contemporary movie. And it's a rarity because not only is it a sort of contemporary, popular, mainstream film that'll probably go on to be the highest grossing film of the entire year, it's a genre film, and I actually kind of enjoyed it. And the name of that film, of course, is Captain America: Civil War. Now, my general view on the whole superhero genre is they're basically hamburger movies. You know, they're being made basically to a certain formula. You're getting pretty much the exact same thing in every movie. You know, you got the exposition buttons, and you got lots of action in between, and everything is basically just a big ploy to set up the next installment in the ever-sprawling Marvel Cinematic Universe. And you know what? It works. And I think you really have to watch something like a Batman vs. Superman to realize just how good Marvel is doing and what they're doing with the whole MCU. I mean, it's very episodic. It's a brilliant idea because you always have like 3 or 4 new movies coming out that tie into this bigger, overarching story, which is going to result in like this huge, gigantic 2-part, super duper crossover film in all crossover films in a couple of years. And you know, everything connects. Granted, it's very predictable. But you know, basically, like I said earlier, you know, it's basically the serialization of film. So instead of like just being like a 3-part story that we're used to, all of these Marvel movies are basically just episodic. You know, it's another entry in this huge, you know, by the time the MCU is over and done with, there's going to be like 50, 60 movies in the canon, if not more. I mean, this thing can go on indefinitely. I mean, it's really only a matter of time until we get a Cloak and Dagger movie. I mean, at this rate, there's no stopping it. And the movie's made like what, already like 900 million at the box office. So yeah, we're going to be having a lot more Marvel in our future. And you know, the thing about Civil War is that it has its shortcomings and it has its strengths. And I think this is one of those movies where it definitely subscribes to Paul Heyman. You know, the founder and operator of ECW back in the 90s. He had a mentality where, you know, if you're going to build a product, what you do is you accentuate the strengths and you hide the negatives. And I look at Civil War, and this is a film that has very clear-cut strengths and very clear-cut weaknesses. So what does it do? What do these Russo brothers guys, the directors, come out and do? They're going to accentuate the hell out of the strengths and do as best they can to hide the weaknesses. And at the end, the movie succeeds more than it fails. Now, as to where the movie gets things right, the action sequences. Good Lord, the action sequences in this movie. This movie contains what is, to date, the pretty much comic book movie Donnybrook to end all comic book movie Donnybrooks. It's just an absolute comic 90 nerd like me's wet dream come to fruition. You've got like literally a dozen Marvel legends on the silver screen in an abandoned airport, just beating the crap out of each other mercilessly for 20 minutes, and it is beautiful. I mean, this is one of those things where like I never mark out the movies. I was marking out with this. Because you got Spider-Man fighting Iron Man. Well, no, he's not fighting Iron Man. He's fighting Captain America. I mean, you got Ant-Man getting inside Iron Man's helmet, you know, breaking the equipment. You got the Falcon in there. You got War Machine. You got the Black Panther. You got the Scarlet Witch using telepathy and telekinesis. I mean, it's just absolute insanity, and it's beautiful. I absolutely loved it. And there's at least 2 or 3 other action scenes in the movie that, while not as awesome as that, are still really, really good, including like a 2-on-1 Winter Soldier Captain America beat down on Iron Man towards the end, which is great. So yeah, at that, it all excels. And you know, the action sequences in this movie are so much better than what you saw in the DC movies, because it's all about character. Because even though they're beating the crap out of each other, I mean, it's kind of done tongue-in-cheek. You know, they're not really trying to kill each other. They're just kind of, you know, saying, all right, you know, I don't want you to do this. I got to beat some sense into you. I'm not going to hurt you, but I am going to mess you up pretty bad. So it's a friendly beatdown like you had in high school when one of your friends started drunk drive. I mean, you weren't trying to hurt them, but you just had to beat some sense into them. And you have that a couple of times in the movies, and it's great. It just works. And you don't see that in the DC movies. Definitely not in Batman vs. Superman for sure. So all that stuff works. You know, you got the huge cast. You got the awesome, you know, mega battles. You got action out the yin-yang. All of that works. Now, it's the part of the movie that doesn't work. Well, it's the thing that hasn't worked with the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe is the fact that the plot line really isn't that strong. I mean, by now it's super duper predictable. I mean, I think it has the exact same plot as the last Captain America movie, where you got Hydra doing evil stuff, and you got the Winter Soldier who's being framed for a crime he didn't commit, and you're introducing new characters. You got the Black Panther showing up, and basically the big rift is pretty much the same storyline we saw in Batman vs Superman, which is you have the public kind of get a little iffy about the Avengers going out there and breaking all the stuff and causing all this collateral damage. So they come up with something called the Sokolov Accords, which is basically what happened in the Age of Ultron, in case you haven't seen it. Which is basically the UN saying, all right, guys, we need to rein you in. I mean, you're too powerful, you're a threat to humanity. I mean, we don't even know where Thor and Hulk is, so we're going to basically clamp down on it. And so this whole idea kind of splits the Avengers in two. On one side, you got Captain America who's saying, no, wait, we got to run free. We don't trust the government. We don't trust all these nations. Sometimes the Falcon, sometimes justice is like the Falcon. A quote from the Watchmen. You got to go unhooded sometimes. So you got that camp, and half the Avengers are on his side. And then the other half's on Iron Man's side because, he believes in people being in check. They cause too much damage. He feels guilty. And probably the most awesome thing about the entire movie, and this really is almost enough for an entire video of itself, is the introduction of the new Spider-Man, the third cinematic Spider-Man. Tom Hiddleston, I think is his name. A British dude put on a Queen's accent. You got Aunt May in the movie is like she's I'm not really sure how you pronounce it, but an AILF, if you get my drift. That's terminology the kids use. Not that I would use, but just terminology other people in the Generation Y age bracket would describe her as. Looking like, not matronly looking, hot is just everything. God, she is just mature and beautiful. And it's a really good Spider-Man. I like his take, because he's a little kid. He sounds like Matt Serra from UFC. He's basically on YouTube. He got a really goofy costume, and Tony Stark shows up and says, hey, we'll give you equipment. Come join us. He's kind of brought on as a ringer. And, his scenes are really the standout part of the entire movie. Just watching Spider-Man. And what they did in this movie with the character gives me a lot of hope that the next one won't be terrible. So they do Spider-Man very well in this movie. I'll just say that. No one will spoil the rest of it. But like I said, there's not a whole lot of character development. The character's already established. The new characters are very... they have personality, but they don't really have a whole lot of motivation. Even Black Panther, he's just there because his dad died. And that's pretty much every supervillain or superhero's motivation. When their family members died, so they go out and do all this stuff. So like I said, it's very predictable, not very surprising at all. The kind of thing that's just a screenwriter skeleton key. So on that end, not a whole lot going on. The characters don't develop. They don't learn anything new. They don't really develop new pathos. They become more human. They're just kind of being thrown through the meat grind like they always do. And the storyline, like I said, is very predictable. You got Hydra doing stuff. There's like a big, swerve coming up where the Winter Soldier's convicted of a crime, but he didn't do it. It's actually Hydra. And you got Crossbones showing up, and he gets blown up early on in the movie. So it's not really a super villain-driven movie, which is kind of strange for a comic book film, and it works for the most part. But yeah, outside of just, setting up yet another Avengers movie or whatever, there's just not a whole lot to it. There's not really a story here. It's just stuff exploding, just action sequences, lots of quips. So basically, it's a live-action comic book. Not intended to be good cinema whatsoever. And in that, I can at least respect it. So there we go. Civil War, it's the definition of a good popcorn movie. If you go see it, you will be entertained. It's just a really fun movie. But it's not great art. There's nothing in here that'll make you feel uplifting. It won't give you any profound commentary on human existence. It's just something, you watch on a Saturday morning, eating popcorn, eating cookie dough raw out of the tube. Just something you do for instant gratification. It's not great art. It's not great commentary. It's not great philosophy. It's not going to change the world. But you know what? Sort of a cinematic industry where you have so many coming out here like this, they really have no purpose other than just give you like instant entertainment and sell a bunch of toys. At least Civil War does it right. It's way, way better than the Apocalypse we got coming out. I haven't seen it yet, but early reviews are terrible. Way better than Batman vs Superman. It's not really kind of going the Deadpool route, which I thought was another really good movie, but I still think Civil War is just a little bit more. I don't know. Actually, I think Deadpool's better. Never mind, I'm not going to say that. But yeah, all in all, it's just a good, entertaining popcorn movie. You know, if you're going to do soulless, you know, capitalistic cinema right, at least do it like this. So yeah, Civil War. To reiterate the words of Axl Rose, I actually do want this Civil War. It gets my thumbs of approval. Go see it. It's loud, it's crashy, it's entertaining, it's cheesy. It's pretty much everything you want out of a modern day comic book